I think we serve thousands of SaaS companies as our customer. A very common example is, especially if you have product-led growth as a go-to-market motion as a SaaS business, what you would want to do as a product team is to reduce the onboarding time, and drive more in-app engagement. Because the more in-app engagement you drive, it probably results in, significant revenue and continuous engagement, right? So I would say one of good customers we have is a company called Clevo. It's an AI-powered product discovery platform for e-commerce brands.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Grow IT podcast. One of your hosts here, Trey King. And today we are very excited to have our guest, Mr. Satya Gani from Beamer and UserFlow. And then today we'll be diving into his story a little bit, as well as what it is his companies do, and as well as some engaging insights, well, as you guys know, as always, into the technology industry. So make sure to stick around for this one. But without further ado, Satya, welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Great to be here, Treg, and thanks for inviting me. Yeah.
No, the pleasure is ours. Satya, I think if we can kick things off, if you can provide us with a bit around your background, please.
Sure. So I've been a SaaS, operator, founder, and for close to 2 decades. Started my career as an engineer, and then moved on to the dark side, which is the business side of the house. But always have been a product builder, and was fortunate enough to start a couple of companies, and more recently, very excited about what we're doing together with Beamer and UserFlow. Yeah.
Excellent. Tell me, Satya, I mean, you've been doing this for quite some time now, and obviously having running both companies. Tell me from a marketing perspective on what you guys are doing. Like what marketing trends are out there? What ways are the winds blowing these days?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the framework that I actually use, Treg, is I would say we have one company, two product lines, because both are so loved products
Oh,
that
gotcha.
customers really love both of the products. So what we are uniquely solving in the marketplace is building out a product growth toolkit for SaaS and digital first product teams. So what we realized is that a lot of product teams wanted to drive growth and not just ship features. And for them to effectively drive growth, you need an infrastructure and a toolkit, and that's kind of what we are trying to offer in the marketplace, right? Both with Beamer User Flow and whatever we build in the future is to offer a toolkit for SaaS and digital first product teams to drive growth. Yeah.
Yo, I think because I actually saw that and I thought to myself, I'm so glad you brought it up because I'm very curious. Tell me a bit about more what this toolkit you're talking about. Like, is it like a specific one, or is it something
Sure.
custom depending on industry? Or if you don't mind, just to elaborate a bit on that.
Absolutely. I think as you have seen a very common trend over the last few years in SaaS is product-led growth, right? Product-led growth. So more and more companies, both new ones and existing ones, want to adopt a PLG, both in terms of achieving efficiencies as well as driving faster growth, right? So PLG is a very common phenomena, and for to make PLG happen, you need a lot of infrastructure to be able to make effective choices around product-led growth, right? Which means you need the data, you need the tooling and everything. And part of that tooling is things like analytics, which forms the quantitative bedrock. But you also need engagement layer, which is what we offer on the user flow side, to be able to drive engagement, because as a product leader, you would want to use both qualitative and quantitative data points to inform your priorities, but also understand deeply about your users and drive those engagement. So I would say things like onboarding, analytics, in-app engagement, feedback, all of these are crucial elements, both qualitative and quantitative, for product teams to effectively understand their users and drive growth. Yeah.
Right. So I think maybe for the man on the street like myself, right? Can you maybe provide like an example of, let's say, for a company, how how this growth kit, but like maybe one you've
Makes
done in the past with a client or so. Obviously don't have to mention the client's name, but just can explain to like just a tangible example.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we serve thousands of SaaS companies as our customer. A very common example is, especially if you have product-led growth as a go-to-market motion as a SaaS business, what you would want to do as a product team is to reduce the onboarding time, and drive more in-app engagement, because the more in-app engagement you drive, it probably results in significant revenue and continuous engagement, right? So I would say, one of good customers we have is a company called Clevo. It's an AI powered product discovery platform for e-commerce brands, and the challenge that they had was they had a very lengthy onboarding process, which meant that customers are taking too long to see value. They're also getting a lot of significant volume of support tickets, which is overwhelming their support team. And the third is they want to see better engagement for the features that they launch and ship, right? So with a toolkit like UserFlow, what they were able to do is they were able to remove the human intervention and provide onboarding through a self-serve mechanism, which cut their onboarding time by almost 50%. So it went all the way from 45-60 days to 20-25 days. Second thing is it also drew a lot of in-app engagement, right? So they have seen 45% higher participation in product engagement, and most importantly, it also reduced the support tickets. So what tools like Beamer and UserFlow offers to the customers or the product teams is to be able to reduce the onboarding, drive feature adoption, and reduce their support volume, which means that you don't need a human intervention between the product and the company, between the product and the company. Yeah.
Okay, so but I mean, geez, that's quite profound, Satya, because I'm just thinking from somebody that don't know, obviously a lot about specifically about this, is that, but from a business perspective, I'm just thinking now that these types of things will obviously, shorten the sales cycle, even bring down your CAC, right? Your client
Yes.
acquisition cost, right? That will bring that down, and obviously productivity up, client acquisition cost down. Geez, that this is quite profound what you guys are doing.
Yeah, that's why I think the category is called user onboarding, and it effectively allows teams to onboard users or onboard organizations much faster and much compared to the historical interventions, historical people-led interventions that SaaS companies used to offer. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm even thinking now, Satya, from a from a CX, from a customer experience point of view, that makes a big difference for that customer journey, right?
Yes.
For their clients. So I can fully understand why there's such a big need for this. Tell me, the if we can maybe step back a bit. I mean, you're currently the CEO of two companies,
Sure.
and like I mentioned earlier, you've been doing this for quite some time now. In your opinion, right? What would you say does it take to be like a successful CEO of a business?
Sure, sure, sure. I think the most important three ingredients are you need to have a very clear strategic vision for the company, right? What the company is today and what the company will be over the next 3 to 5 years, right? So I think that's the number one. You need absolute clarity in terms of having a strategic vision, right? Second, because everyone has to find a place in the marketplace, right? So what are you uniquely offering in the marketplace? marketplace, and how are you going to be differentiated? So I think the number one thing is having a clear vision for the company, right? The number two responsibility is having the right right strategy, resources, and the right leaders to execute on that vision, right? So you would need the right strategy, you would need the right leaders, you would also need the right resources. So the number two job of the CEO is to ensure that he has this all three, right? And the third thing is building out an awesome team that's able to support and grow the business, right? And it spans all the way from the top till the bottom, right? I think one aspect that we could not miss out in this equation is the relationship with all the stakeholders, right? I would say not just investors, if you have them, if you have one of them, but also customers, right? Customers, partners, employees, right? I think that stakeholder management is a big responsibility for the CEO, and most importantly, the execution and driving results. So if I have to put out a framework, one is having a strategic vision, second is having the right strategy and the resources, third is stakeholder management, which includes both internal and external stakeholders, and the fourth is driving execution and driving results, right? So I would say these are the four areas that I think a job of every CEO here. Yeah.
The you mentioned now growth earlier, company growth. Could, I mean, the road's not always straight, right? To not everything is roses all the time. Can you maybe provide an example of like a time where things were tough, maybe needed more clients for the business, or whatever the case may be, and what you did to basically get through that. I think there's a lot of people that can learn from you.
Sure. I think growth is always a challenging dimension, whether you're a growing company or an established company, right? It's probably 10x harder on many dimensions, because you would need, as I said, the right strategy, resources, and all of it. And not just that, even if you have all of it, you would need the corresponding market dynamics to be able to support it, right? So that's very important. I would feel, I can relate to a challenge where we have had some higher churns in the last year because of the changing market dynamics. And the way you would probably want to solve it is to go back and talk to your core ideal customers, and understanding what is the core value that they see in your offering, right? I think you want to tie the customers to the value prop that you offer, and ensure that
Right.
they see the value prop on a constant basis, which means that probably you'll have to shrink your ideal customer from a much wider arena to a much narrower arena of saying, hey, I'm not going to be a toolkit for everyone on the planet. I'm going to be a toolkit for product teams at, let's say, SaaS and digital first companies to effectively drive, growth or engagement within their own app. So I think the ability to hone back, I use this word called cohorts and segments a lot, because I think in the broader world of software, because software is so pervasive right now, I think your ability to cohort your customers, your ability to segment your market, I think is super important, because you would want to demonstrate value to that core segment and the core cohort, and then you can probably expand. Because if that core cohort is not seeing value from what you offer in the marketplace, they're not going to stay. It's just a matter of time, whether they choose other options in the marketplace, right? Including the in-house options. So I think what you want to ensure is that the core segment of the market and the core cohort of customers are continuously seeing value, which means that you can always trust on them to help grow your business. And if you max out that core cohort, and say there can be only so many SaaS companies or something, then there's always room and opportunity to go beyond. Yeah.
Oh, that's such a good example. Thank you for that. Tell me, Satya. So, what's on the cards for 2025 for you guys? What's on the horizon?
Sure,
What you
sure, sure.
guys? What's the plans for this year?
Yeah, I think we have been very fortunate to be blessed with both investors who understand the core tenets of the business model and have their support. So that's fantastic. A primary investor is Camber Partners, and who is a growth fund based out of New York that supports high growth product led companies, right? And the second, I was also fortunate enough to have a leadership team that shows a lot more responsibility and be able to drive the business forward. And this includes go to market, product, engineering, support, and many other functions. So I'm grateful for that. The third is we have the trust and love from thousands of these SaaS businesses, especially SaaS product teams, who really see us as a critical toolkit in terms of their adoption or driving in-app engagement. And also I'm also very grateful for it, and we are also seeing more and more customers. A big portion of our growth actually comes from word of mouth, which is incredible. That means that customers truly love our product, and they also see value from our offering when they use it in their own product lines, right? So we would love to see more of that growth coming through the organic way, because that's also very sustainable, both for us and the customer. And most importantly, we have a fantastic team that will continue to look to grow and all. We are fortunate enough to be profitable, so we want to maintain that profitability while optimizing for whatever growth that we can drive in the marketplace. Yeah. Mhm.
Marketplace, excellent. Well, Satya, thank you so much, for coming on and willing to share your knowledge today. And it was good to hear about what you guys do. I mean, I think that growth kit is something significant, especially well given the markets that we work with as well. And I wish you all the best for the year, for you and your team, and for both businesses. And thanks for coming on. Tell me, where can the listeners, where can they get hold of you guys?
Yeah. I think the best day is visit our websites, which is userflow.com and getbeamer.com, right? That's kind of our home. And of course, I'm personally available on social media, especially on LinkedIn and x.com. You can just search for Satya Gani, and you should be able to find me both on LinkedIn and x.com, and hit me up there. Yeah.
Excellent. Ah, lovely. But thanks for coming on. All the best.
Yeah. Thanks for your time, Greg. Really appreciate it. Yeah.